Yeah, it's a bit difficult. Usually we use instant messaging or Skype, but it's a lot of overhead, I must say. We have overall over 200 writers who have ever written for Smash Magazine. We have many people who are contributing regularly, and everybody needs to be taken care of, and no one wants to feel alone, and everybody has questions and so on. So it's important that this communication is more or less effective. And therefore we also have hired some people who help us to deal with these contributors, and but essentially it just happens via email, Skype. We don't like phone calls. It's so old-fashioned, and you can do anything. All you need via the internet. And also, it's a big problem because if you have a phone, then people can call you like right now. People can call you and then disturb. And it's easier. It's very easy. And if you close IM, and if you close Google Talk, and if you close Skype, then you can have your own kind of privacy where you can work without being disturbed all the time. It's important. First of all, if you want to make things right. The benefit is, of course, that you explore very different ideas coming from people around the world. Because you have people from South America, you have people from India, from Japan, and they all have kind of, well, first of all, of course, they have cultural backgrounds which are completely different. So they have some ideas which first look very weird to you, but then you realize, okay, but it would work actually. So what comes is basically that you get some really interesting insights that are more diversified. You have many diversified opinions, and for instance, if you make a usability test or something, and we are an international website, so it's important to get these different views coming together and then evaluate them. And in terms of articles, we also have, for instance, we also have experts who are reviewing our articles, and some of them are in Japan, some of them are in South America, and it's really sometimes very important to get this global view of things. It's difficult because we have high expectations, and we build them by ourselves. It's our own fault. But people are expecting to have high quality content, as I said already, and of course they expect us to deliver articles every day. So we're kind of under pressure, and even more pressure than 2 years ago, because we just was a startup, and well, we could allow it ourselves to just not publish anything at all, maybe for 2 weeks or so. Now if we do this, we will get probably a bit of feedback of what's going on. Where are articles? What are you doing, guys? You have just advertising, and then you don't publish anything at all, and it's a bit difficult. But at the same time, it's very exciting because you can actually really do something in the design community. And if you find an interesting article, or if you find an interesting person who wants to share his or her thoughts or ideas, you can really boost this idea a lot, really, by just providing our Smash Magazine as a kind of platform where you can actually speak to the design community. So it's a huge opportunity for us and for our writers, of course, but it's also a lot of responsibility, because if we set a wrong path somewhere, or we publish something weird or something that could influence people around the world, it will probably influence at least a couple of designers worldwide, and it would be our fault. And we are aware of that, and we'll do our best that it never happens. Yeah, it's a good question, yeah. How can I cope with all the designers we have, and with all these tweets we have, with all these Facebook updates, messages we receive and so on? Well, it's impossible to follow them all, because we have like 127,000 followers. we get replies all the time, and I don't know, maybe a couple of thousands per day. So it's really impossible to follow them all. But what we do is I kind of have a to-do list every every morning, where I know exactly, okay, I have 5-7 minutes for Twitter, have 5-7 minutes for stumble upon, delicious and so on. So I try to find what people are actually saying by using something like Smash Magazine search on Twitter and Smash Mag search and hashtag search and so on, which are all running on my tweet deck. So sometimes I just scroll through them and find something randomly and respond to the person who maybe had some critique or criticism or some questions or whatever. And if something appeals to me, then I write back. Or I just realize, okay, maybe in this article we did this mistake and we should then make it better next time. But it's difficult to go through all these updates. But we have some filters that help us to find the most important relevant ones, which will help us then to improve the articles. And maybe next time just make the article more or better. Yeah, when I get to the cinema and I starting watching a movie, I always focus on the typography which is used. If I don't like typography, then I already think that maybe this movie is not the best that I've ever seen. And it's a bit weird, actually. Or subtitles. It's always cool. Subtitles shown in the movies. Sometimes I'm just freaking out because the typography is so badly written and all the typographic rules are not taken care of. And I really just can't sit there because I actually like these indie movies and independent movies and so on, international movies. But sometimes it freaks me out. Or like if you see all these Comic Sans signs all around the place, or here as well, or when you get some contract from a investment company or whatever, and they're writing their email in Comic Sans, I'm just but it happens. It happens all the time. So it kind of, these design related things are following me all the time. I try to get rid of them, but maybe I shouldn't, I don't know. So first of all, of course, when a new writer comes along, we do always have some questions, so we want to have the ideas, their view of things, how they think and what they've written maybe, just to see what kind of person it is. Who are we dealing with? Because it can be anyone. Okay? And because we have these high quality standards which are raised all the time, we need to make sure that people we get are at least capable of learning how to become the best. Or are the best, it's even better. It's even better. And once we get the articles, it's also good to know how people, our readers, will react to them. So we have these two views, so to say. We have the view of the writer's skills, what kind of person it is he or she really hardworking enough to make it a brilliant article which doesn't have any holes or which really contains relevant and useful information, and how will people perceive it? How will the article be perceived? What will people tell? What will appear in our comments? What will appear on Twitter? And so on. Will people be interested or motivated or engaged enough to tweet about it or share it with their friends? Will they show it to a colleague of theirs, or will they show it to maybe a business partner who just had the same problem and so on? So this kind of view of things is really important. I would say it's actually the core of the whole thing. It helps a lot.